good morning. So yeah, I've already done my exercise for the day. And so I've got a clear runway to... What day is it today? It's Friday. Yeah, I thought it was Friday. For a second there, I thought it might be Thursday. But yeah, it's Friday. Ready for one more day. I am very keen to just start playing with all my new toys. My demons with their demon weapons. But first, gonna just try and like whack this list out. Got a few little things here, and yeah, of course we can't really play because there's some bugs. But the next thing on my list was to glow up the humans, and god damn it, I'm gonna glow up the humans. Hey babe.
Going to B&Q with Nurai, okay?
Oh, you're doing that? Okay.
Yeah, because
You going now?
life goes on, yeah. We have
Alright,
finished
have
in
fun.
the car and I'm just getting the carrier and my glasses.
Cool, have fun.
Love you.
Love you too. Yeah. So yeah, gonna wait, no, not weapons. Characters, humans, and then we'll have a look at the orcs as well, but it's really the humans. So if you saw the old human soldier, didn't look that great, but this one fucking does. This one looks much better. So we go clean, a couple scratches, couple more scratches. And then finally with the little thing showing that he's fully ascended. And then our ranger has a bit of hair, which is an interesting thing. Like, felt like an odd one. And yeah, he's got the cheekbones and the chin and like a decent shadow under his hat. And then he gets long hair, which I think is a bit radical. It's going to make the scenes look very interesting. And then our wizard has just a bit more, just another layer of detail. He's got the crow's feet on the eyes and just, yeah, the cheekbones and whatnot. The hair is fairly new. The priest now... Priest remains quite simplistic. Ages a bit quicker. And kind of ends up with this almost smile, which I think is quite cute. Rogue has hair now. Cheekbones, all that good stuff. And and yeah, this guy looks like some kind of nobility. Which is really cool. And then the knight, suddenly, this guy looks a little bit plain, doesn't he? But I like the idea. And yeah, there's a couple things like, for example, should... okay, so what colour is that? Okay, so I want to take... this color. It's really annoying that I can't. Can I just copy and paste 5194 142? So I just want to take that color and add it to the palette. That's really annoying. Maybe there is a way, but I can't see it. 5194 142. 5194 142. Save. Okay, so that's our human faction color. And then so if we go to our paladin here, should this not be the same color? Just kind of like, because before that was the kind of holy color. Like if anything, I think this is our heal color. If anything, it would be like that. But I'm quite happy with the paladin, but I do feel like the knight could do with some stuff. How would we do that? I feel like it might just be... like a kind of... I was looking at this yesterday. Like some kind of... because if we're evolving from this... the knight is a mixture of the shield bearer and this soldier here. And now this soldier's been upgraded quite a lot. This one needs to kind of go in line with it. I mean, we could like sort of take this as a starting point. Like let that be the kind of evolution. So let's start messing around. Yeah, no, it's too similar. Like I was thinking maybe we could do like Something like that. I mean, that might be fun for his final form. But but I like this idea of having the sort of black there, right? Let's zoom in on this a bit. Which we already had with the old version. I just feel like this is a bit lackluster. I was kind of thinking of Shredder, you know, Ninja Turtles. I mean, maybe we kind of keep the same visor. Like, so one of the ideas I had was, and let's just try this, was kind of like if we did that, and let's just start with this and make it this faction color, right? Faction blue, and then straight away start to kind of shade it. But I feel like that looks a bit whack. That's not it. So something kind of similar would be this. It's just that now this was one of the cooler ones, but now that we've improved the other ones, this is definitely on the weaker side. Feels a bit plain. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's just me. But it doesn't feel like an evolution of the previous. Like, it feels like we've, you know, the less evolved version is a more impressive image, and that's a problem. Yeah, I mean, this looks good. Like, there's something about the faction blue which I like a lot. This is a bit plain, so I think all we would do is we would take... So just looking at the Paladin now. The Paladin I like. The Paladin has something to him. Because what it is it's your typical kind of Crusader helm with the cross. But the sort of... I think it's quite funny that the kind of helm kind of ends up with cheekbones and a frown. So it kind of feels extremely zealous. That's the vibe I get from it, and that's the vibe I want. But we could have a bit more detail. So yeah, I'll put a pin in the knight for a second there, and just kind of focus on the Paladin for a bit, because I think the Paladin's a bit easier to kind of just... Like, this is one where I think all we need to do is just add a bit of detail, add a bit more shading to make it look more, I don't know, impressive, pleasing to the eye. Yeah, we can have a bit of shading on the eyes there, and I think we can kind of copy and paste this shading to a degree. And then it kind of ends up quite dark there. These squares end up, these rectangles end up being quite prominent. But yeah, so can I just take that? Yeah, so I'll have to take, I'll just try and be like, try and take as much shading as possible without breaking the images. Okay, so the eyes are... Yeah, let's just... So we just fill those in. for the... Yeah, and we can just copy paste this across like that. Yeah, just because, like... And goddamn, like, I can see why people didn't go nuts for the game based off the first trailer, just because of the way the the soldiers look, because they look whack. They don't look very impressive. Like they just the old soldiers. I mean, you can look at the screenshots for the game right now on the Steam page to see what they look like. They don't look very good compared to what we've got now. Okay, I think this is the same. Yeah. So now I think he does. This guy looks a bit better with that. Yeah, so he gets the wider eyes until he gets that, and I think that's slight blue. Like, this guy's zealous to the faction, you know, like he's really into it, and you can tell that whoever is in that mask is like proper zealous crusader, not someone you want to mess with, but also someone who might know a bit of medicine. Is there any more we would add to this? No, I like the high contrast. Like, we could add some like scratch marks. But I feel like that's kind of exclusive to the pure melee fighters. Okay, so let's come back to the knight for a bit. So I think this is fine. It's very simple, but I think it works. The mage just needs some shading. So fundamentally, it doesn't change. So I think the knight is something we're going to have to come back to. Like, I'm really not sure. If anyone's watching, has some ideas for what to do with the knight. Because it used to be that he was way more impressive than the soldier, but now he's like the least impressive one. He looks silly by comparison to this one. This one looks like higher level. So yeah, we've got Paladin. It's easier to spot them with this. So yeah, we just need to do a bit of shading. And I think I kind of want to copy over from here a bit. So if we sort of took... What if I took this, like, face, and then did I kind of ruin it? So, like, straight away, we've got that detailed older face, and then it's quite easy. And then what's different? The eyebrows. Okay, and then some shading under the hair. So there'll be a fair bit of copying and pasting to do. So let's, and I think that'll be on the face. And we'll just kind of, like, those extra details that change from image to image, we can just redo them manually. But yeah, so let's do this. And yeah, we'll do corner inclusive shading here, because this is hanging over his head a bit, so it should feel, kind of gives it more weight and I guess realism. I don't know what to call it, because it just looks better. It's just better art. It's like I'm struggling to find a word for what is essentially I'm not shit anymore. Like, there's a difference between something that's shit and something that's good, and this is now closer to good than it was to shit. It's not shit anymore, or not as shit anymore. Okay, one thing that changed here is, so I'm gonna want to take basically the beard down here. I'm gonna want to take this, and I think, kind of crazy, but delete it and grab this back and pop it there. because yeah, he has a longer, thinner beard, so he doesn't inherit the beard there. But we've now lost some of the cheekbone stuff, so I just want this shape. Yeah. So yeah, I'll have to do a bit of cheeky copying and pasting. Oh no, I've got it here. Oh yeah, no. So we've got that. That's not the problem. So I just need to remind myself what that line looks like, and it's literally just an extra dot. Bear with me, I'm still learning. So yeah, we've literally just got that extra dot there, and we're going to want that on the other side as well. Just character consistency. This is the same dude basically. He has now gone from Fire Mage to Frost Mage, and we are kind of aping Gandalf the Grey to Gandalf the White a bit. So straight away, like, he already looks miles better, doesn't he? Just with that little bit of detail, you know? So this is the face we're going to want to take and literally just... Unfortunately, for some reason, I did the kind of high-level details on the extra layer. So where does that leave us? Okay, clear progression. The hair gets whiter. He gets the white in his eyes, and then his eyes turn blue. Is that enough progression? Like, usually we have a bit more, but I think it's kind of fine. Where would we go from here? How would we improve this? How would we make it so that his so that he feels like he's leveling up a bit more? I wonder if he would have like a cold aura. I wonder if it would look better if he had some more shading on the hair. I wonder if that's like a detail that I think this, what I'm doing here is good. So we'll have to copy and paste this to the other versions as well. But yeah, this is definitely an improvement. We've got the old face. And yeah, it's like, I guess with game dev, so I talked about this last time, but when you're a small team, you don't have people to play the game for you and tell you how it is. You have to judge that for yourself. And the more you play the game, the more, the kind of like the worse your judgment becomes. Like, you just get too close to it. So you have to really be quite strategic with when you actually play the game. So I'm trying to stack quite a few things that are different before I play it again. What a lot of people will recommend is test everything as you do it, which is valid. But for me, it does make more sense to just kind of, at the moment, to just stack a bunch of things and you know, just kind of look forward to playing it all in one big block. Okay, yeah, that looks marginally better. Yeah, definitely looks better. And so I'm very keen to just kind of play, just play a bunch of missions, play a bunch of the game, just get into it. Okay, so we should have shading on the beard as well. And it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really fun to play, especially as the humans with all these new sprites. I just think it's going to look way better. Okay, yeah, we've got the slightly different hair color there. Okay. Could we just go whiter and whiter with his hair? Is that the thing to do? To show progression? because we haven't really got that here. We started doing this where they get a little dot in their eye to show that they are fully leveled. They get a little white in their eye. I know this kind of looks goofy on him, but they get a little something on the eyes when they're fully leveled up. See? Get a little white in the eye. So we'll do the same. And he gets a little blue in the eye because his eyes are already white. So he goes full. Okay, so let's take this hair. Let's copy that across. And the only difference with the first one is it's slightly less white. And yeah, the eyes are not what we want. We can do better altogether with the eyes. And then this is on the face. So the face we want to copy across again because I think that shading on the beard is actually good. Oh, shading on the nose. I can just do that manually. So yeah, I think this is better. The only problem is that there's no progression. So what if we were like quite lazy? And so we just take this color on the hat layer, and we just said let's start here. Oh, that is like so close to the other grey. Okay, it can't be the same though, is it? No, it's not exactly the same. But then we go even lower. And do those bits. So we start like that and we end up like that. So then we'll do this one a bit darker, not quite that dark, and then this one quite a bit darker. Yeah, that looks like his hair's getting lighter, but marginally. And then, let's say, just on this one, we just go slightly down. And then by the end, he's washing his hair with, I don't know, the same stuff Peter Crouch uses to whiten his shirts. I feel like that gives him some wisdom. Did I just copy one? Yeah, accident. Okay. Yeah, that gives him some wisdom. So we'll take that. Oh, that's on the hat layer. Okay, let's just undo that. Undo that. Go to the base. Gives him some wisdom, I think. I'm not sure. But if we sort of start there, and then I think like, what if there was? So let's do the eye thing, and let's actually use frost blue for his iris. And then I sort of feel like having. So I did the wrong eyes. Undo that, do it again. Should be bright frost. That's frost and bright frost. Yeah, it's ever so slightly blue, or should it be bluer? I think the bluer is better. So yeah, I feel like one of the ways, besides his hair getting lighter, because I feel like that is just a bit lazy, we can like put more in his eyes. It just kind of makes him look wiser, I think. And then you could consider something crazy like a sort of frost aura. Let's see. Let's see where we land. Okay. No. But that is good. Just a little bit of something in the eyes. I think that is better. And then, I mean, the hair getting whiter, I think, is a nice progression. It's very visual. I think that works. I'm going to move on, because, you know, there's how many? There's 80 characters in this game. There's 80 non-hero characters. There's 16 heroes, and each of the non-hero characters has 4 iterations. So I need to keep it rolling. Okay, I've always liked this one quite a lot, but the only issue I have now is that it does look a bit basic when you compare it to some of the other characters. But I wonder if that's something like, so let's try and use some of the like techniques that I've learned along the way. So if we took a very faint, that gives his eyes a bit of a glow. That's a starting point. Adds a little something. I mean, I am tempted to just not change this, although one thing for sure is that the hood is not shaded. And I do think somewhere else I've like shaded this hood. So yeah, I think a little bit of this color around the eyes helps make it look like they're glowing. Although that eye shape altogether is not great. So I think we would add, I think we just remove this. Eyes look kind of dead, don't they? Glowing but dead somehow. I guess I am learning how to art. They're glowing but they're still dead somehow. Why is that? It's the shape of them. And yeah, actually I think this what I'm doing here is adding a lot. It does make it look like they're glowing a bit. So that's nice. Rather than just being a lazy white blob of squares, you know? Just there you go, white on black, it's an eye. Like, it's cool, it's got a nice shape to it, and I like the simplicity. I like the, you know, this has always been one of my favorite kind of visages, is this sort of hooded, masked character with these eyes somehow shining in the shadow, and you just cannot see anything about the face. And that is the thing of the assassin, like you can't see anything. But then, yeah, he does get his more aggy face. Although I'm a bit... And yeah, so then he gets the slightly redder. So you can see my standards were a bit lower before. And we've got this like wine red colour. I think we don't need that. I think we just stick with the black. I think that's just distracting. It allows you to focus on the progression of the eyes. And what we definitely need is shading on the mask and the eyes. So we need to take this color, and we're just dealing with lots of different tones of black here, but it can't be, I just swabbed. It can't be the same as any of the blacks we're already using. So is that too similar to that? No, that is just off. So line tool and just a bit of, I don't know whether to like give it a nice, or just do the corners. Let's see, so let's try like this. Yeah, I think that's good. Although it's not really consistent with what we have elsewhere. Like usually we just do the edge. We just shade the edge. But because this is more shadowy, I guess we wouldn't. Okay, and then we need to kind of do the same with this here, which is going to be a pain. I'm pretty sure I have like pasted this hood elsewhere and shaded it somewhere as well. But don't know where. Well, like I could easily find it. I think it's probably in the orcs or the undead, and I just have this shaded version. Should I hunt for that? Let's hunt for that. Rather than just doing it again. I mean, it's probably going to take the same amount of time, but there's a sort of creative labor there as well, isn't there? Of like, where does the shade go? So like, for example, here, yeah, this guy. So if I could take this guy's hood, so what's on? So that's all on the same layer. It might be, and then here, it's basically the same character. And then, well, not really. No, we start here. So we start with Nazgul, and we end up with the Witch King of Angmar, basically. And that's cool. I like that. It's very dark. It's very, you know, it's not like high effort, best piece of art you've ever seen, but it's cool. I feel like this guy's black is like pissing on this guy's black. So let's take this and make it almost black. Like, yeah, 7. Yeah, already better. Already better. Let's not mess around. And actually feel like this one is probably too black. So that really is black. That is blick, as we would say. So I think I'm going to make that a 7, which is going to mess with things a bit. But yeah, 7 is better rather than 0. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so what I want to do is take this, and then what are we working with here? We're on the hat layer. So probably the easiest way would just be to do this. But then we lose the black line. Maybe that's fine. No, I need to do the black line there. So we've got a bit of work. No, that's the best one. Okay, I think we had a cultist on the demons. Maybe it would be easier to paste it from there. So as you can see already, this has probably taken longer than me just doing it manually. But yeah, here we have the same hood again, this time shaded. I would just need to, and on this layer, so this is good. And then the only issue is it doesn't have the mask thing. And then I just do color replace. Oh, and because the mask layer, oh, it's because I'm not, I don't know how, I don't fully understand why, but it's not like overwriting the mask bit. Is the mask bit on the base layer? No, it's all just on the hat layer. So I don't know how I've successfully done that, but I'm not going to question it too much. Okay, good. And then we just need the colors. No, that shouldn't be full black. And then yeah, the inside of the hood I think should be that color. No, just there. Yeah. So now I can take this. It's just everything except the eyes. My very crude methods. I'm sure there's if there's any artist watching, I'm sure they're probably pulling their hair out if they have any. Okay. So this is a very simple character. So it's nothing too impressive. It's hard to imagine, but yeah, it does look like the eyes are glowing now that I've done that. So we've applied a couple useful techniques to end up with something that's quite cool here. Very simplistic, but it doesn't always have to be, you know, high detailed stuff. Okay, I've already kind of done this one, but let's just see if I'm missing anything. We are missing shade under the nose. And we have a slight issue here that he kind of has the same, that is the generic face. So originally they all kind of started with the generic face and then evolved into something that looked a bit different. But I've since kind of updated it so that they kind of start with their face and then their face evolves to be more kind of, you know, epic over time. More serious, more extreme. And I just realised this would be a nice touch. So if we take that colour and we just do kind of accentuates the shine. Should it be more to the left? Yeah, kind of looks more like he's seeing something. I like it. Okay, so yeah, this is a pretty simple one. I'm quite happy with it. I feel like he looks like a bit like Doug Walker. I don't know why. Yeah, got a bit of a bum chin going on. So I did the cheekbones, did some shading on the hair, shaded the glasses, and yeah, he just looks a lot better than he did before. I feel like we could probably do some of these. Make sure I'm on the right layer. See, there's a sort of difference between detailed and noisy. Yeah, I think that's just noisy. Doesn't make it look better. And the final form, I love the final form. He looks like he's friends with Robotnik, you know, but he's not Robotnik. He's a Tekken villain. I don't know. Well, I was thinking of Bosconovich. And then here we come back to, as you can see, like, how far have I come as an artist? That's something I've done recently. This is something I did when I started the project, and it was like, I was going for simplicity. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But Jesus, like, I don't know. We just come a lot further. Like, so these are the latest characters. So I did the demons, I think last week, and they're like way more impressive. Still simplistic at times, but they've got so much more character. They're so much more interesting. Look at that. And then you just compare some of these with this, and it's like, that really is a bit too basic. So we're gonna kind of, I think the crown, the shape is fine. It just needs detail. And then I want to take so this guy kind of evolves from this guy. So he's going to have the same nose. So let's start by grabbing this entire dude. Yeah, so let's take this entire layer and bring it down. God, the knight's going to be the last one, isn't it? And it's going to be a pain. Right, so if we kind of took him wholesale and just put him on the hat layer, and then we took his hair as well, put that on the hat layer, just to, like, straight away, that gives us a better starting point. So we really are just taking from this, but we're going to make him, looks a bit like Frank Zappa or something. So yeah, I mean, the progression is simple and I like it. We start with no jewels, then we go have a jewel, and then more jewels until we're good. But could the jewels be more interesting? Let's take an equivalent that I did more recently, which is this guy. So straight away you can see I put a bit more effort in the jewels, but we don't really have the space. And I quite like this guy having a sort of almost party hat, like very, very generic king's crown, you know? But what's some things we can do here? So we can definitely do some shading. And I think it will look better. It's not like I didn't know what shading was before. It's just my criteria for what needed and what didn't need to be shaded, I guess, was different. But I just feel like a little bit of shading in the right place takes what, you know, could have been a really kind of mediocre image into something that can be thought of as quite impressive. And then, yeah, I don't know, it just adds detail. I remember I used to do a bit of art when I was younger, and I found that if I could sit there shading something forever, but then it got to a point where you would shade something so much that it just kind of looks like a amorphous blob. Sometimes it's better not to shade, and of course you have to think about how much time do you have. So yeah, I don't know if... Yeah, the shading's definitely made some improvements. So let's just copy that across without interrupting the gems. Just finding cheap and easy ways to do this. Okay, yeah, so we'll have to draw the bottom of those again, and the tops of these. So let's do... Boop, 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 boop. I think these are fine. Is this faction color? Because we do actually have faction color now. Along with faction shaded, or would we have a brighter version? And I think just shading them like this, yeah, just makes them look a bit more like gems, doesn't it? Yeah, that's good. Just check this notification in case it's important. Oh, something about a job. What we do want this base on here as well. Did I not do that? What's going on? Oh, okay, so that was the... Yeah, I get it now. So yeah, our bannerman has become a lord, but it's actually supposed to be a direct progression from the looter. Do I need to redraw the looter? So here's the looter, and the looter was very much like, so it's kind of like patches from, and you can see this guy also comes from the bannerman. And yeah, I was starting to get a little bit better here, because you can see like this little bit under the eyes. If you put this shape under an eye, it makes them look happier in a very, very subtle way. So yeah, I'm getting better at art. Getting there slowly but surely. Okay, delete this, I think. So we've got Lord, stage 1. And it is the bannerman with a crown on. Same cheekbone, same chin, same moustache, same eyes, same nose. That's all fine. But then we do want some kind of progression. And I think, for starters, he can get a bit more, like, angry. bit more serious over time. So yeah, just a good old simple caterpillar. So yeah, we go 2, and that overlaps the eye. So yeah, we would need to start here. 3, 3, 3. Shade it. I could. There's ways to like mirror and stuff like that, but sometimes it is just easier just to draw it again. Okay, so we can also go from moustache to beard. And I like the idea that it's basically the same dude. But maybe with a little bit of this guy in there. So it's like a Lord is a mixture of Looter and Bannerman. And it used to be that the Lord would do like buffs. But now he is actually... now he just has weapons. But he's also he has the looting function, which means that he can he will pick up items for the player, which is really great for lazy runs. Kind of makes sense for a Lord, doesn't it? And there's this kind of story there, like it makes sense for a Bannerman to become a Lord. Not thinking too deeply about medieval stuff there, but just someone who's kind of like a presence on the battlefield, not necessarily a fighter, not necessarily someone you would want to risk, but someone who carries the flag of the country, basically. Yeah, let's take... So this red should be the same as this. I know it's a jewel, but I think just color consistency. And then Looter also becomes the Lord. So that's because, you know, you combine the Lord and the Looter. Sorry, you combine the Lord and the Bannerman. The Looter and the Bannerman to make the Lord, sorry. And so he might... And it's not necessarily that, like... And there's usually a main strain, right? So like, yeah, this really is the evolution of the Looter, because this is the other character that can loot. So it's funny that we've taken probably a bit more from the Bannerman than we have from the Looter. But maybe we can kind of fix that. So yeah, eyebrows. As we get more intense, I think his eyebrows should basically, like, they should lift. So we will go stage 3. Fill that in. And let's give him the black eyes to start with, because that is the rule. It's white eyes is only for the final form. And that does actually give him something. Definitely looks lordly, doesn't he? I mean, that's definitely a nobleman's nose. And then so the beard And we'll shade it. The beard can progress each time. So we go to a full connected goatee. Don't know if I've added too much at once there. I'm just going to copy these steps down 2 and then zigzag. And the Lord would have a symmetrical beard. I think that makes sense. Oh, yeah. So proper symmetry. Just need to add one down the line. There we go. And then that is symmetrical. Can we be a bit wider? No, I think that's fine. Let's shade that. And then I wonder if we have... So yeah, talking about the way he sort of inherits from the looter, like he doesn't really. He's got the gold, but the looter at the moment didn't really have much character to them. Like they were just, it's just patches from Dark Souls. Can I grab? I want to grab that dark brown. I think I can just grab this and just make it again. Not too precious. Yeah, there's a kind of something to the kind of almost comical straightness of his beard that I think works well for the character. For some reason that just adds something. I don't know. Maybe it just looks stupid. It's like, what's this big stripy thing on your face? But I think it adds something. So he has progressed. Let's say that's good progression. For the last one, we can do a final ramp up with the eyebrows. Yeah, he looks stern, but not like out of control angry. And actually, I think in general there should be shading there. It would make sense, wouldn't it? Just do that manually. Shading under the crown. Yeah, I think that's a good look. think that's a decent look. He looks like a lord. It's sort of progression from the Bannerman. I kind of wonder if I'm being lazy, like not really drawing a new character, but just taking the Bannerman and expanding it into the Lord, even though really this is the direct descendant of the Looter, which is this guy, who of course has... So yeah, this is how I did it before. We started... Okay, I think I've just deleted one by accident. We started with this face, which is the generic human face, and then we kind of adapted into something different. And that's how we did all the characters. But now I think we should start with... so that's a nice cheeky face for the Looter. He's got one eyebrow higher than the other. And that's a good progression. So I don't want to change too much here. There's just a couple things. We have shading under the nose. We have shading under the eyes. And sometimes, like, it can have a couple of effects. Like, it can make them look tired, or it can make it look like they're smiling because it's like their cheeks are pushing into their eye a bit. But that works better if you add it there too. But if we said one... And I kind of like ended up with patches because we were just kind of... I had this like quite strong philosophy of simplicity. And that's kind of changed a little bit in that I just think like this is... So maybe what we want is kind of like a wheeler-dealer Looter, you know? Like not generic bald person who's a bit cheeky, but like, what do you think when you think of a Looter? You know, what facial features does Patches have? Because Patches, I don't think he's like the gold standard of cheeky bald guy. And like Patches doesn't really work outside of Dark Souls. I was just kind of thinking again, like at the beginning I was like simplicity, and then what's happened is as I've drawn more, I've like learned a few more techniques, and I've learned what works and what doesn't to make these characters work. The simple rules are kind of like cheekbones and chin that separates them. Obviously nose, like everyone's going to have a different nose. And then, yeah, the visual language of the dot in the eye on the last stage. That's a fairly new one. But yeah, just a few simple rules that I've learned. Where should the shading be? At what point does shading become noisy on what should be like a simple, easy to read image? And I guess that's, you know... Sometimes it's the laziness talking when it sort of says, well, keep it simple, don't add anything. And it's like, well, I kind of want to add something. But obviously not adding anything, not shading, is easier. Does that look better? I'm not actually sure because I'm so used to the other image. I think the lips might be a bit full on. But I think if you were looking at that fresh, you're like, yeah. So let's follow the rules. Let's do cheekbones. And I always kind of just do it by feel. I know the character. And then, yeah, I usually just copy for the other side. I think cheekbones should be symmetrical. And then, I don't know. What kind of chin does a Looter have? Do they have a bum chin? Are they like a bit scarred, maybe? Been through some shit? Like straight away that's given him a lot more character. And then should he have hair? Like what about a bandana? Bandana might do it, right? Like a bit like a pirate. So we would want to... Yeah, like a pirate's bandana. I don't know, looter. I'm just going to go like medieval looter. Oh, that's YouTube. I want Google. And then what characters am I thinking of? I think I had the same thing when I was first drawing him. I was like, what the hell does a looter look like? Because it's just a dude who's like there grabbing stuff. They're going to have a mishmash of other people's equipment. They might have a rag on their head. So I think a bandana would kind of would work here. Let's try and fix the line there a bit because I think it's a bit off. And I should definitely, so yeah, I'll just undo all of that. Sorry about that. And I'm going to do this on the hat layer. We want to get this line right. And I think people who wear bandanas, so like let's look at who's a famous bandana wearer is Roronoa Zoro sometimes. So yeah, it's very close to his eyes. I think that's a typical kind of thing, and it looks good. So it's quite close to his eyes, and I think that's about right. And then we just have the two bits where it was tied, 1, 2, to sell that it's a bandana, and then it just needs to match the contour of the head, but not be exactly on it, because otherwise it looks like latex or something. Because we're on the hat layer, we can't go too wrong here. Okay, very good. Oh, we botched it at the last second. So it's good to do these. I mean, if you're like me, you make mistakes and then you Control Z them. It's good to do like short strokes. Okay, and now we can just, so the next step is just kind of tidy the line a bit, just see points where it looks like maybe it should be like, yeah, I think this should all be corner exclusive, but I like that little one down there, that little pixel there. Okay, that's good. And then yeah, and so color for the bandana, I mean, we could I think would it make sense for it to be faction blue, you know, the blue of the human faction, just to make it clear what team he's on. You could imagine, because if it's a looter, is he part of the army? Like, not really, no. I haven't really thought about it, but like, who does he work for? Why is he there? Yeah, I think he's like someone who follows the army to grab shit when they drop it, right? So he's like an unofficial member of the army. He's like a dog that's like come for scraps. And could we give him a bit of hair? Should we give him a little bit of hair poking out? Like, let's do that bit again. And then fill that in with just brown for now. Oh. Just to give him a bit of, and then like straight away, and then how like, I think for a bandana to get that kind of fabric-y effect, we need like a few lines like this. We can change the color of this later, but we can, you know, give the color replace tool some to work with. And because this round, we wouldn't just do corner shading, even though it's kind of not what we've been going with so far, so let's just do, or edge shading, what I mean. And then we'll kind of just like that. Is that good? Yeah, it kind of helps it look round. And then we would have, just match this contour here, corner inclusive. And yeah, lots of little details here that we're going to need to sell this. But yeah, already the looter is looking like a more interesting character, isn't he? Oh, and I just had an idea. This rag should be the color of his rarity. Because that's a looter, he's very interested in rarities. So he would start with, what do we do? What do we do with the loot sack? What did we do with the loot sack? So we go sprites, weapons, green weapons. I could just find it in Unity, actually. It's right there. That's why I didn't find it in Unity. My brain's been trained to not click there. No, okay, we got it. Didn't take too long. The loot sack. Yeah, we go common is white. We skip green. Then we go blue, purple, and then gold for legendary. So let's do that. So we would start. Yeah, well we can work on the colors in detail later. So let's would these just be dark? Just be fully shaded, or would they be part shaded? Again, like shading is just really the difference between something that's like, oh, you've just drawn that in an afternoon in MS Paint, and oh, this is pixel art. You know? And is it just noisy, or does it look like what it's supposed to look like? So we would have like lines like this, I think, just a few lines going across. I don't know, would they be going all the way across, or we would have short lines that don't quite match each other, just to sell the idea that this is a piece of fabric, right? So if I look at Zoro's bandana, I'm not a huge One Piece fan, but this is the image I'm looking at. And if we zoom in on that a bit, and you can just see these very subtle little lines they've done here. So like maybe what we would do is have a bit of, we can make this bigger. I mean, I'm not trying to directly copy, but like, yeah, so like one of the things we could do is like that they've done. So the shadowy bit actually comes up in little spikes there, which helps kind of. But then, as you can see, we're getting into the territory of having just made a mess, basically. Like it just looks messy, just looks like noise, looks like static on a TV, you know. But what if we made some space for it? So yeah, let's do like 1, 2, 3, 4 little spikes coming out. Makes it look. You see those 4 little spikes? That's kind of what I'm looking at. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and then. Yeah, it might be overdone a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's a bandana, it's fabric, and it's not like fancy, tight, perfectly fit. It's like, yeah, this is a looter, this is a chancer. Okay, hair color. Yeah, I mean, he has got the standard kind of brown hair that we've been using for everyone with brown hair, so I think that's fine. We can just shade it up a bit. And then on the face, but this goes on the hair layer. Oh, I swear I pressed O and it here's P. I think I'm just pressing P. It's always my fault. I said someone bug fixing and kind of working on projects like this in general. Sometimes it's like a murder mystery, but you're always the you're always the killer. You just need to figure out your motive and your method. That's what bug fixing is like. How did I do this? You're like a detective, but you're always the criminal. Okay. Yep. This is looking better. I think... So the way the eyebrows progress is probably fine, but maybe we can kind of start there. No, I think that's a good progression, and then we're gonna run into a problem with the eyebrow coming into the bandana. So if we took this bandana now and copy that onto each of these. So yeah, what we might have to do is just sort of abandon this idea of the eyebrow raising too much. Because I think the bandana looks better than having those raised eyebrows. But you know, we can have it a bit. I think I'm just gonna have to like pull it down in each case. So like quite crudely, I'm just gonna grab and kind of guess how far that is. And I think in each case it only needs to be one higher to sell that effect of it being raised. Yeah, I guess it kind of looks a bit like the hero from Dragon Quest. I never played those games. I played a bit of like 11, I think it was, and because it was on Game Pass, and I did very kind of grindy RPG. Like there's not much interesting going on with each encounter. I was kind of spoilt by Final Fantasy, to be honest, when it came to RPGs. Like Final Fantasy as a franchise kind of ruined all other RPGs, because I always expected something absolutely new and fantastical, and always expected interesting game mechanics that forced you to have to think after each encounter, or you know, for each encounter. Okay, so let's go with like white, no, hat, white. Might be fun to start with green, actually. And then that's very Zorro, but you know, maybe that's fine. People expect a green bandana. And then we go blue, and then we go purple, which I'll just use this one for consistency. Do I have an official purple color? I should, but I don't think I do. So we'll have to just do with it's purple. And then finally, legendary, which goes well with his eyes, fits the character, which is the same as this color. I think that's the gold color, although I think it's a bit more saturated. So again, we'll kind of just wing it a bit. Again, people will get the idea. Like at some point, yeah, I should do like a color pass where I just go through and question every single color and think about if it could be better or homogenized or replaced. And yeah, he looks pretty like he's leveled up. He's gone from green to blue to, so you know, he's gone from uncommon to rare to epic to legendary, and that is our looter. And I think that is a huge improvement on what we had before. Adds a lot of color to the scene, and it's going to be clear when you see this guy kind of what he's about, especially the tier 4 version. So that's cool. Okay, And back again to low poly, low pixel, low resolution, MS Paint nonsense. So, first of all, shading. So this is a bard. I like the hat and I like the shape of the hat. So I don't think I'm going to change too much there. Can do with a bit of, but I think it just needs a good bit of shading. And it's nice that he gets his feather part way through. That's a nice touch, but the feather could also do with some shading. I like the face. I like the moustache and how it grows. That's good. I'm not going to change that. I like how his moustache starts with the Bannerman's moustache and his face starts there. But we're going to change his nose and we're not going to use... Should we use this nose again? I mean, I don't think that's going to go. I don't think that's going to look right on this character. Ah, for God's sake, having the wrong layer selected. Okay, let's grab your nose. Thank you. Pop it there. No, I mean, he doesn't scream bard, does he? So his nose should not just be the little L, little backwards L. It should be cheeky bard. Cheeky little round nose. You can get into like, yeah, cheeky little round nose. Who else has that nose? His is slightly more pointy. It's almost the same nose, isn't it? But it's not the same nose. Fun. Okay, and this guy also evolves from the priest. So what we could do is borrow parts of the priest, which will be easier to find like this. So what is it about the priest? Let's grab his face. But yeah, we set up to do a glow up and to make all these characters look better, and we have indeed made all these characters look better. Very much so. So let's just make a fresh one, and the face. So the nose is the standard nose. So we'll take this nose. And do we want him to? We want him to get into this a bit quicker. Like, we don't want to start with the bard face, do we? I don't think we do. We want to get right to like who is this guy? He's a bard. He's not a miserable. Where was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this is the wrong nose, and this is our starting point, and this is no longer useful. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the eyes are correct. I already did that, and let's just do the nose. And already I think that fits him. But step 1, mouth, would need to be less so, which is a very easy fix. So we go, but now should we? I think a dot there just looks weird. What about just the line that's 3 wide, 3 long? Yeah. Okay. And the kind eyes. I think we can kind of get them sooner. So he starts with the kind eyes. And he ends up somehow with even kinder eyes. I think that'll do it. See, because it's funny, like if you put this, it can make them just look tired. But it also can make them look happy. So cheekbones. Again, I always I tend to just kind of do these by feel, but like we could get into like what the cheekbones do to a character. Like high cheekbones for like nobility and stuff, and then like maybe low cheekbones for an artist. We can go methodical and be like, yes, 3 down, 2 across. Corner exclusive to get rid of the hard features. But also I think it's quite good just to do it by feel. Just go, here's this guy. I know this guy. His cheekbones are like this. Except without the corners. Is that just the exact same thing that I did? So his cheekbones soften his face, and they complement his smile. So let's try it, and then now we're methodical, and we just try and copy to the other side, because for some reason cheekbones seem to make much more sense when they're completely symmetrical. I mean, if his goatee is there, his chin thing would be here. Like, are those just random lines on an egg, or is that a chin with a sort of rounding? Like, what are these? What are these bits? I mean, it's not that bit. Is it just like, am I just randomly drawing lines on a head, or have I improved the image? That's my question. Okay, yeah, so that's going to interrupt the goatee at some point, right? Maybe he's one of his features is that he doesn't have a chin bit. Or maybe we do just need our little thing here. And then is there something about like continuing the roundness of his face? It just kind of makes them all, sometimes the chin makes the bits below it look like turkey neck. It kind of just makes them look fat. No, I actually kind of think I was on something there. It could be that I'm just like a bit like, if I had done this one first, I would have done correct cheekbones that would have made sense. But because I'm kind of a bit late, because I've already done a few drawings today, my sort of judgment is slipping. So let's do a few obvious ones. Let's shade the mouth. Sometimes it feels noisy, but I think it does help give depth to the image. And we kind of imagine that a bard wouldn't be lacking in soft lips, so there's no reason to give him extra hardness. And I think you give him hardness by not doing that. And then eyebrows. Kind of ends up having too much of a heaviness to them. But I think does add to it. So we are going to want to copy those eyebrows. I I think we can do that without interrupting anything else. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, for the last one too. And we would certainly want shading under the hat. So let's just get that out of the way. And I'll just grab that. And would he have like some luscious flowing hair underneath all that? Like, would he have like? I think he can't. I think he kind of has to, right? Like, if the fucking excuse my language, if the ranger does, because I kind of went mad with the ranger's hair. I was like, he needs something there, and now he's got this long hair, which is a bit nuts. Like, I might roll that back. Just kind of, but I could borrow his hair. I think I might roll this back, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of like, yeah. This doesn't make him look better. Like, we'll keep it short. We'll just keep it short. So we would take this hair on the head, and we would yeah, I think I am going to do that, but I don't want to lose it. Apparently I did the eyes on the hat layer there, and here too. Oh wait, what is going on? Okay, that's our copy. Bloody layers. Yeah, yeah, it was rolling back the big hair. What is going on? What is going on? Have I been like doing things on the wrong layer? I think maybe I have. So these are his eyebrows at this stage. So I want to take. It's on the base. Yeah, that is on his head. Oh no, that is the fucking hat layer. Damn it. So yeah, let's just take this part. Try and put that on the base layer. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, bloody layers. Okay. Because yeah, it seems he's getting less intense. So I'm just going to undo loads of this because I've done this wrong. But hopefully without doing any of my bards. So we've got this guy and he goes, yeah, and that gets more intense as he goes. And I'm going to carefully take his hair and carefully, carefully without interrupting any of the other work I've done. And then that's still good progression. That's still like, yeah, his eyebrows get more intense. The feathers, like it's good progression. But then the hair here, like I like this hair. I think I did well with the hair. If I could copy that across, let's make a copy here. Yeah, no, fuck it. I'm not going to copy it across. But I think I was right to not give this guy long hair. I think I just wanted to make the image more... And I don't know, this just kind of came out. I was like wanting to draw hair, which is a good sign, because I started out not wanting to draw hair at all, because I hate drawing hair, because I'm not good at it. So yeah, it's a good sign. Right. So let's give this guy some hair. Because I was always scared to draw hair. I was like, oh god, no, I'm going to mess this up. What kind of hair? Like, I kind of think the same kind of vibe. Maybe like almost curly, like Lord Farquaad. Yeah, and it's kind of different the way it comes out, because it would want to start around here. Did we do... Yeah, we lost the shading on the head there. Oh my god, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah, he should have hair. Let's start by shading his hat. I think that's a good place to start. So we want this color. Let's use the same one we used here. And I think I might want a reference for this, because I need to think about how, like, what's going on here. I think it's like that. Yeah, let's just go with that. I wonder if his hat should actually be coming out like just one click to the left, just to give it some room over the head, so it's not like cutting off his circulation. It's not skin tight. Okay, yeah, and then there, now we have some room. Like, how do we need that much hair? Would we be fine with... I don't want it to cross his eye there. I want there to be plenty of space. Okay, and colour. Let's just give it a colour so we can start to block it out. And then, yeah, do these little deets. Yeah, this works. But we don't want it there. And we would have the back to it too. And colour, I think we can probably just go with wasp brown. again, and then we can always change it if we feel like that's not good enough. Like what other color would it be? I mean, it might be a different shade of brown, but that's not hard to do. We just kind of randomly wobble it. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's try and do that again then. So we start around here. We go. Let's do this bit first. So and I want it to match. I want its symmetry. So the first spike's around there. Next one. Next one. That last one's a bit too long, I think. So we can just taper it up there. Let's just do that again, and I'll try and do it in. Steps. So first one, and then let go of the click, so that if I have to Control Z, which I do like doing, I don't lose the bits that actually worked. So let's just quickly color that so we can see what we're working with. Yeah, and just tidy up the corners. And then do our back, which is really easy to do. You just do do that again. Then you have to do this bit. And then yeah, this bit's really messy. Toss a coin to your watcher, valley of plenty. Valley of plenty. Toss a coin to your witcher, friend of humanity. Toss a coin to your witcher, a valley of plenty, a valley of plenty. So let's compare that. Yeah, we're definitely making the game better. We really are. Like, because I was a bit worried about the beans. I was like, is that good? Is that actually like nice? Okay, we can redo the feather. I'm not worried about the feather. It'd be easier to just draw it again than to work around it. Or maybe we don't even need it anymore. Like, I needed something to kind of help me. We could do the white, the eye white. And I just want to kind of have some consistency there, that I'm using the same, white of the eye. I mean, it's just off-white, slightly off-white. So it's going to be like, what is it? 10? Oh, that's full white. Okay, yeah, let's go with full white then. I mean, we'll do a color pass at some point. To me, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference, but to some people it really does, and I understand why. I think it does make. I understand it does make a difference to me. I just don't really know how to interface with my color IQ, So this is fine. yeah, we've got progression, clear moustache. He looks like a bard. He is a bard. It's a bard. Yeah, we've made our ranger less anime, which I'm pleased about. You know, or still anime, but you know, the right kind of anime. He's not a host at a, you know, host bar. One of those. Okay, so again, straight away, Shield Man looks so weak. I don't actually mind this helmet, and I don't actually mind this look in general. And we've actually done something very similar with the undead, and I like that sort of symmetry there. Yeah. So I'm happy to go ahead with this, but even with the undead one, we need shading. Very simple thing. But it needs to be done. It's not rocket science. Everyone knows this. We all did art at school at some point. I guess just one of those things, like because when I've got 10 other things, like if I was just the artist, maybe I'd have figured this all out. But because I'm doing everything else as well, it's like, oh, there's a lot to think about. Okay, so I need to somehow intelligently paste that across without losing what we have. And then, yeah, here I can just manually do it again. Not a big deal. It's less work to manually redo it than it is to copy paste it. But that's where you realize, like, yeah, I kind of understand all the sort of not mad, but you know, quite time consuming processes that artists go through before they start on a project. Because you'll see an artist like just fucking whip something together and it's really impressive. But once you're like, okay, we need to maintain like, because it's quite easy with this low resolution of pixels. Once you get into like higher resolutions, it's like shit. Actually, to just fix that shading over here is quite a lot of effort. And I think it's interesting, like, because so I'm never going to be an artist, but I could, in some capacity, be an art director. And I think I can't. Well, for me at least, I find it difficult to imagine doing a good job of that without without going through it, without going through this process, basically, to be like, okay, now I understand why there are different, like, I don't know, like, I understand what the artists are doing. I think we'll change the hue a little bit as well. Is this even a real hair color? I don't know. I just want it to be different from the other browns. And when choosing which way to go with that, I chose a sandier, lighter one because it sort of, again, makes sense for a more creative person, I think. And yeah, we kind of skipped the feather. Didn't even really remember the feather. Okay, I mean, this undead one is fine. I mean, the undead are cool. I had fun with the undead. We'll probably want to do another pass with the orcs, and now the hue. Yeah, okay. So I'll write this down. Undead soldier, because I think he should match the human soldier, and that's easy. We just take this and we make it skeleton. Or we just remove the helmet entirely. I'm going to start by doing that. Just say, hey, it's a skeleton. His skeleton, its Hello, yeah, skeleton. And then, oh look. Oh, this is going to change to a bat. And then, yeah, grave robber. This one's cool. No changes, no notes. Maybe some shading here, but I think it's fine. And then ranger, again, is like, it's the same ranger again. It's this guy again. It's fine. Maybe some shading on the hat. But it's the same dude. This is fine. So yeah, let's do a quick pass. Ghost, I'm happy with. It's quite simplistic, but it's kind of meant to be maybe shading. Maybe we could do some shading around here. But I think I tried that and we lost something. Mad scientist. Yeah, so just a bit of shading under the nose here. Looks a bit like he looks a bit like the guy from the Mighty Boosh. You know which one. The old one. And then, yeah, the eyes kind of accounted for. Like, these all have a look. These are better than the humans. And then the shield bearer is... So yeah, I think I'll keep that helmet for the shield bearer. Necromancer's fine. Again, shade under the nose would be nice. And for some reason, his beard has an outline. I don't know why I choose for some characters to have an outline beard and others not, but you know. Vampire. So yeah, the undead are pretty done. Just a couple noses that needed some shading. I mean, yeah, could have made some kind of character creator for this, where we just like, here's 20 noses, here's 20 mouths. Mix and match them. But like give them hats and shit to like show what class and rank they are. Well, we're gonna need to redo the knight, undead soldier, knight. So yeah, knight, undead soldier, undead knight. Wait. Okay, the witch I think is pretty good. Again, just needs I think she needs a different nose, which she has here. So her nose gets bigger and bigger. Let's just start her off with that. Let's just, because I feel like noses isn't the kind of thing that should like evolve with the character. I mean, in her case, she's like going, unless she was going from like a pretty witch to like an old hag, but she's not. She's going from a pretty witch to an even prettier witch. But she needs a lot of shading, and I think that's all it's going to take to get this character looking good. So how far below the head? What if we did it all the way? How far below the head should the hat, should the shade be? Because I think it should be quite low. I think it looks good if it's quite low, like covering her eyes quite a bit, but then maybe her nose would be like exempt from it. Unless the shade kind of didn't quite reach her nose, because that just kind of makes her nose stick out a bit, doesn't it? So let's, what if it was like, Yeah, that's a bit smoother. And then of course shade under the hair. She's got some quite thick hair, so we'll at least do full line corner inclusive. We'll worry about how we copy and paste this to the other versions later, but it should, as long as we just do it in like relatively reasonable chunks, it should be fine. And then would we have more voluptuous lips somehow? Is this, or is this just making it look like she's got a moustache? I don't know. Let's try it. I think yes to these, but no to the bits above and below the red. Cheekbones. Why does she look moody? Okay, she gets over that. So she's a serious witch. She's at witch school. Okay, so we're going to want to... So the eyes don't change except for that eyebrow. So some of this is just going to be remembering. Making sure that we're keeping the integrity. Yeah, okay. And then I think we can risk-free copy this along. Oh, we didn't do the last phase. I must have accidentally copied this layer. Okay, so let's take this again, and what's different on the face? It's nothing, it's just the eyes. And the eyes, for some reason I did that on the hat layer. I think it's because I did it fairly recently. Kind of just did it across. The lips look better just because she's got lipstick on. I don't know. Is it that we just want this smile to come in sooner? I think we do. And then let's try this with the smile. I don't know. I feel like, oh, so now she's got more lipstick. Yeah, I think the lips look fine. It's just when you're focused on something, it's like, is it just noise? Okay, and I think we can fairly safely take from here to the cheekbones without interrupting any of the other stuff we've been doing. So like straight away, this is better. And then chin, I think actually she might just be fine. Sometimes it just looks like they have massive chins, just the nature of the character design. Okay, I have to go in 10 minutes to go get my son. Pretty good turnout today. Thank you everyone who joined. So I've got a few more of these to glow up. This tower's fine, to be honest. Maybe I could shade around the windows, but there's probably a reason that I didn't. Then we've got the Fire Witch, which really just continues from the Witch. So we'll just do a lot of the same stuff. The Blacksmith, again, just kind of needs another layer of detail. These are the ones that I did later. And this was one of my very early drawings, which I think I'll just keep in there in the files. So we're going to do Shield Bearer, Berserker, who again is already pretty damn cool. Doesn't need a lot to enhance him. Again, just shading, maybe a different nose, shading under the hair, just to bring it up to scratch, because they do look a bit bold in MS Paint, but once they've had the treatment, they look a bit better, don't they? That would make a nice thumbnail, comparing the old and the new. But yeah, this guy definitely looks better. He was a bit simplistic before, but now he kind of, I've learned how to give him age without just kind of scribbling on his face. So yeah, good progress. I mean, again, I want to get back to making the actual game, but this has been good. So glow up humans, undead soldier, undead knight, just and otherwise just going through the list, but just reminding myself that I will have to do some of these, and I'm just going to do a full pass of all of the things in the game. Like this one's fine. I don't think I need to do anything different to this. This one's fine. It's interesting. This one's also fine. Like, these are the ones that I did later. It was a bit basic. I could do the glow thing again. I think that would work. That would make it better. Same here. So yeah, I need to just do a pass and just be like, is there anything I can do to enhance the quality of these images? In some cases, not really. Like this one's pretty basic. It's a building. It gets more skulls on it because I'm not going to draw the building 4 times. This one, I love this one. And yeah, I'd already gotten into the habit of shading under the nose and the eyes and the cheekbones. So this is where I started getting good a little bit. But yeah, we'll do a full pass of all of the sprites. Maybe weapons as well. And then, Jesus, we're getting close to... And then, yeah, I'll have to play through. I'll run into bugs, fix those. And then, we are getting there. We're going to finish this game. All right. Thank you so much for anyone who joined. And I will be back at 1 p.m. To do some more of this. All right, cheers. Have a nice lunch.